Good morning. Welcome back to the farm. It is a just fantastic, nice, cool morning out here in Nebraska. So nice. It's we're not used to having, cool weather at all in August because out in California, August is the hottest part of the year. So these 60-degree nights are just amazing out here. But we got some clouds in here today, just making it beautiful, nice, cool weather. We're going to get some work done outside today. So we're starting on a couple more projects, and we're transitioning right now into the wannados instead of the havtados, which I really like because the havtados start stacking up, and I don't like any kind of regimented schedule anymore now that I'm retired. If I got deadlines, I'm not happy. So transitioning into the wannados is a really nice transition here that we're going through right now. So let me show you one of the newer projects we mentioned in one of the previous videos. Let's show you what we got going. So we picked up this the other day. One of my neighbors named Carl down the road down here that we've met since we moved here. He had this old windmill tower sitting out in the grass at his place, and it was kind of in the way. His cows are in the area, and it's kind of a hazard for his cows, and it was laid down like this into the grass. You can see some of the grass is still down there in it, but he told me we could have it, and Kelly and I have been wanting a windmill here on our place because we love windmills, and it's pretty much going to be yard art. It's not going to be a functioning windmill. It's going to be just like a gigantic weather vane pretty much, and our plan is to put it kind of over there where that dead bush is. But we have some little maintenance we're going to have to do on this thing. For the most part, this thing is pretty solid. But when you get down to this area, you can see the cross members are kind of bent. It's probably from when it was laid down or whatever. Things got kind of bent up. So we're going to have to take all of these angle irons off and straighten them all up because it's causing things to be all wonky out here on the end. But once we get all these cross members straightened up and everything's out where it's supposed to be, this thing will be all squared up again. We got a couple wires that are loose that we're going to have to reattach, the stabilization wires, and then we got this ladder to fix up here also. We're probably going to put some more cross members down here towards the bottom, even if they're just temporary until we get this thing cemented into the ground. We'll add some pieces here on the bottom. You can see where this thing has been cut off before. We'll take these pieces off, and then we'll make some pieces that bolt on here that are a lot longer that get concreted down into the ground, and we'll probably concrete it up to here or so. But once it gets in concrete, that'll hold it, and we could probably take those stabilization cross members out of there. But other than that, this thing is in real good shape. A lot of the windmills have solid bars for their stabilization. This has wires. It's the twisted wire, and they're in decent shape. There's no reason really to replace them or go to the solid wires, but there's some stuff that's been added on over the years that we'll take all that stuff off and make sure everything's bolted up the way it's supposed to be. We'll rehab this thing a little bit, but the tower looks real good. The platform is newer. I guess the neighbor told me that he had this platform added so he could grease the gear drive up here. But it's still got the pedestal up here. And I don't know if we're going to go with an actual windmill gear drive and a real windmill. Being it's not going to be functional other than just like a giant weather vane. I'm contemplating fabricating a fake windmill like I told you in that one video. I'm pretty crafty in the shop, so it wouldn't be too hard to come up with something like that that looks just like a regular windmill. We'll keep the tail fin folded. If you're not familiar with windmills, how they work, there's a mechanism to fold the tail fin to the side 90 degrees. So if you get a heavy storm and a heavy wind, there was a handle usually mounted down where you could reach it with a mechanism. You'd throw that handle up or down, I forget which, but it would activate a mechanism up here on top that would turn the tail fin 90 degrees to the rotor, so the rotor wouldn't be into the wind anymore. It would turn it, the edge of it, into the wind. So we're probably going to build it so that tail fin is already in the 90 degrees, so it's not in the strong wind. The rotor will turn on a bearing, but it won't be in the full force of the wind where it's turning, you know, the full speed that it would turn. It'll just spin in the wind, and it'll show you just which way the wind's blowing. But that's our plan with this. Like I said, we got a little fixing to do, so I put it here in front of the shop, and then it's not out on the grass where we got to mow around it. But it'll sit here in the driveway until I get it ready to go in. But I'm pretty sure I'll be able to stand this thing up with a tractor. I've got it pretty much figured out how we're able to do that without, you know, tipping the thing over or whatever. But I'll show you the process once we do it. And I did show you on the last video where we started the grain bin gazebo project. It's really going to be nice to have that done, because I've been wanting to do it for a while. When we moved this grain bin, the floor of it had a metal floor in it, and it's very common with these older grain bins that the floor rots out right at the corners of the edges where it meets the walls. And that's what happened to this thing. As soon as we picked it up, the floor just fell out on the ground. So there's no floor in this. So when we set it down, I was a little worried with the strong winds that we get back here that this thing was going to end up folded up in the yard. But luckily, we staked it down. It had some anchor points on it, and we staked it down with some T-posts and wired it down to the ground. So that helped out a little bit, but there's only 3 anchors all the way around this thing, so I was still a little worried. But now I've got 4 posts down into concrete, so I'm a little more comfortable now. The front side of this thing is all concreted down. But we have an electrician coming this morning, because the electricity from the well goes right out over there and then back into the house down in the basement. It's dug down into the ground, and we definitely don't want to hit that while we're digging post holes, because it's not in conduit, it's direct burial wire. And you can see over here, it supposedly goes straight north from the well, so it's going to cut about right through there. So before we dig those posts, we want to get that located. And they've got an underground, they're able to locate underground cable with the equipment that they got. But I showed you this the other day. This is where these next posts are going to go, where you can see those holes drilled. And then there's 2 more in the back, and there's 1 more over here. I'm thinking the wire's probably going to be right between those, but we're going to see. But we should be able to get these other 4 posts in here today. We did these 4 posts up front the other day. So like I said, I'm a lot more comfortable now that this thing will stay on the ground if we get a big wind. But I'll be a lot more comfortable once I get these other 4 posts in, and then we'll get some concrete on the ground here. I'm actually going to drill holes in this bottom rail and put bolts through them, and that way the side is anchored to the concrete. When we pour that, I'll run anchors in from the side into the floor concrete, and this will all be reinforced wire concrete in here on the inside. So that's what we got going on. This morning, since it's a nice morning, I'm going to get out into the greenhouse. I have some plants that I want to start for fall garden. We got some Brussels sprouts and some cauliflower, broccoli, stuff like that. So they didn't have any plants at the garden center, which I was disappointed in, but they did have the seed. So we're going to start the seed. I know the Brussels sprouts will be fine. You can harvest those pretty much in the snow, but I'm hoping we can get the cauliflower and the broccoli headed up before the ground freezes and stuff like that. Those are frost hardy plants, so we don't have to so much worry about the first frost date, but I think we probably do need to worry about the ground freezing because they won't go much beyond that. So we're going to try to get those in. We got the shortest day varieties that we could find. But let me show you the beautiful weather we're having out here right now. It's so cool, so nice. I'm sure Kelly would love to be home today on a day like this. So that's the update. We'll keep you updated as we do these projects. I'll probably just do it as we go along instead of saving all the video and trying to put it all together at the end. It's kind of a headache. So we'll do short videos as we're doing these projects. So come on back and see us. Remember our Facebook page, Mark Kelly Farm on Facebook. If you want to see some of Kelly's pictures, she posts them pretty often. Does some real nice pictures. But till we see you again here on video, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come on back and see us here at Mark Kelly Farm.